Hello, hello. Thanks for joining yet again. I am your host. Just kidding. This is Brianne C. Martin, aka the People Engineer, and we have yet another question. So I'm going to be recording this again for you, Kevin. Shout out to you requesting this. The question is entry-level applications versus internships. Should we apply for entry level if our time as undergraduate is almost up? Less than 3 semesters, 1 summer left. So essentially it sounds like you're about a year and a half due, I guess, for your graduation date. Sorry, can barely think. And so for those who may not know, I actually am a huge proponent for internships. I may have said that in my introduction, but if you have the opportunity to have an internship, especially as an engineering student, make sure you do so. Internships are never too late. Again, I would highly suggest it, especially before you do a full-time position. They're so important. You have the opportunity to learn, to really just, I want to say, mess up in a safe space. Because you're an intern, it's the opportunity for the company to try you out as much as you want to try them out. And so again, it's almost like a mini trial, right? If it's just for the summer, in particular, again, it's like once the summer's done, you're not obligated to stay with them. You didn't sign on full time. So it's again kind of this really cool, fun trial opportunity. And again, if you never want to see that company again, you never want to do anything, there's no obligation tying you to them. So first and foremost, if you still have time, and again, it sounds like it, especially if you have 3 semesters left, essentially this is your senior or even super senior year, please still try for internships. If you're not finding any luck with internships, I would say go ahead and start applying for entry-level full-time positions, or even start looking at something similar to a co-op. And again, there's so many different, obviously, limitations or requirements, or maybe your scholarship or federal aid or whatever is limited, however many grants you have, all that kind of stuff. I get it, but if you can, I want to say even delay graduation until you have experience, it makes such a huge difference, because then it's not just you're learning all the theoretical and you're done with your classes, you actually have real life work experience. And even if you don't get paid for it, and I'll preach this till I'm blue in the face, just because you don't have an official title doesn't mean you're not gaining experience. And so again, you don't have to be even hired full-time for a company. See if you can do even just freelance work, any kind of consulting work. Again, just any kind of experience, so you can kind of just get a taste of different types of industries, different types of roles, different types of skill sets. Because once you kind of get into the role and you're doing specific engineering tasks, again, you won't figure out what you like and what you don't like. Again, I may be repetitive during these vlogs, but when I started out, obviously I'm a mechanical engineer, I really thought I wanted to be in design. And it wasn't until I want to say my 3rd summer of actually being a design intern where I was kind of this isn't really as much as I cut it out to be. At that point, I had known already 3-4 3D modeling softwares. I was really invested. I really enjoyed learning it. And all the concept behind it, I thought it was so fun and cool, to be able to extrude this and take a chunk out of that and, triple that and add in a bunch of fasteners. But then when it actually came down to actually doing that day in and day out, as my full-time job, it drove me crazy. I just couldn't sit at my desk and stare at a screen, for however many hours, or look at AutoCAD and have to figure out which different valve I can interplace or interchange with these specific tolerances, or, the volumetric flow rate that we needed or had, or whatever. I just there was no way I could sit there and do that all day, every day. But I wouldn't have known that, again, until I tried different industries, until I had that opportunity to be exposed to other options. And so granted, again, I was very thankful for the different companies that I had worked for my internships, because they gave me that opportunity to learn and tie into different roles, to where I said, oh, this is the piece I really like. Even though I only did that, 5, 10, 15% of my job, I really enjoyed that piece of it. And so even though I was miserable the other 80, 75%, again, having that opportunity to just try that, to do that, it was a lot of fun. So again, just having that opportunity to do an internship, again, to get back to your question, I would have first and foremost applied for internships first. Again, it's that little fun trial error, no real obligations. Entry level gets a little tricky because they are looking for a graduate, and mostly like they need you to start full time and fill that gap, fill that void, that resource allocation that they need full time. So if you haven't graduated and you know you're not going to graduate for a while, you may have to like work it out. You kind of find yourself in a predicament, or even sometimes if they say, hey, you're applying full time, we can work with you being a student, but you're going to have to figure out how to do full time or even be part time. Like, we really need this spot. Be prepared to have those conversations. And if again you can delay your graduation, or maybe take some classes at night, however you can work your schedule, just be prepared. Like, you're signing on for a full-time position, and it isn't this kind of come and go as you please when you're signing up for that. Internships, again, they're a little more loose. So again, I would say sign up for an internship, work your butt off, really interview well, and kind of see if that's aligned, and then you can see if there's an extension. So then that way maybe you can work part-time as an intern after your semester starts again, or after you get your summer back, or again whatever that time frame is looking like. But if you still have 3 semesters left, I would say try to get that last summer as a full internship or even a co-op. And if you have any particular questions, please drop them in the comments below, and I can kind of address them more into detail, obviously one-on-one situations. But again, it's just really cool, fun opportunity to do that. So again, I would highly suggest, especially if you have 3 semesters left, to focus on getting an internship first. Again, gain that experience, have that opportunity, then have those discussions, rather than kind of doing it reverse and you're going in for a full-time position, and then now you kind of have to explain yourself and make exceptions and see if they're willing to work with you. Whereas again, most of the time they're looking to fill that full-time position, and you kind of know that going in. So I hope that helps, Kevin. Again, if anyone else has any advice, comments, questions, drop them again in the comment section below. I really hope this is helpful to anyone and everyone. And again, if there's anything on the topics of internships, co-ops, anything about how to even get that started, please again let me know in the comments below. More than happy to address this, or maybe even create another video for the rest of Vlogmas. Looking forward to sharing with you all so much. Hope you'll have a wonderful night, and thanks for again joining us here at the People Engineer Vlogmas of 2018. Hope you have a good night. Wanna bye.